It is your Beth friend Bethany here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. I know that many of us, whether you're a student, whether you are currently a working professional, whatever your case is, a lot of us are still stuck in our quarantine mode, our pandemic safety zones.
Which is our home.
Which is our homes. And a lot of us are working from home. And since I have already been working from home doing consulting work since around September of last year, I thought it would be kind of cool to share some of my tips and tricks for working from home. I will say though, with working, organization, and different things that make you productive, this is a personal journey. You do have to take my tips as suggestions and not this is the correct thing to do. When it comes to things like this, it's really about trying things and figuring out what works best with how you work.
If you try it, I live by a hospital.
Hopefully they're okay. Just because someone says something works for them when it comes to this category of advice and videos, it doesn't mean it's going to work for you, and that doesn't mean that what you're doing is wrong. You need to listen to that, maybe modify things to make it work for you, and listen to the advice that actually resonates with you. But I just thought I'd share kind of what I've been doing, what really helps me be successful working at home. And I'm currently a personal executive assistant, and luckily I was able to have it be a virtual position. I'm very thankful for my job. I love it, and it does give me more time to do things that I love. But when I did start first working from home, it is a transition, and so I thought I would just kind of share what worked best for me. So tip number one, for me, that is going to be planning your work week. Whether this is something you can easily do on a Sunday, or it takes enough time you want to incorporate it into your Monday schedule while you are clocked on or tracking your hours after you do your main necessities for the beginning of your week. Whatever time you do it, I would suggest doing this at the beginning of the week. That way you know what's happening this week and what your main priorities are. If you have certain calls, certain Zoom meetings, certain things you have to get done on certain days you have to post something, the best way for you to get this all settled is to put it out and plan your whole work week at the beginning. And this way you can also get all the other work that you normally do on a daily basis, or maybe that you do as it comes up during the week, and then you can also fit it into pockets of free time that you know you're going to have because there are certain days that are more busy than others. Of course, this is a tip you could use whether you're working from home or not, but especially working from home, making sure to plan your week really sets you up for success to get the things you have to get done, and also not to be surprised by anything on a given day, and so that you can kind of mentally prepare yourself for each day because you've already had a look at your week in total. Tip number two is going to be planning out your outfits for the next day. I am not going to say that this is for everyone, but I've personally found that setting out my outfits for what I have planned working from home for the next day sets me up to get my morning routine going, knowing I need to get out of bed, need to get out of my pajamas, even if I decide only to change my shirt and keep my sweatpants. Making sure that you prepare yourself for the day in some way helps you get in the mindset to start working. This is also something that can be very helpful if you want to work out before you work from home, if you want to go on walks with your mask on, of course. You would want to set out your workout clothes so you're not unmotivated to do what you want to do the next morning. So whatever you want to start your day with, you want to set out the outfit that's going to prepare you for that activity. That's something I personally do. I'm a morning workout person, and so setting out my leggings, my sports bra, the top I'm going to wear, and have my shoes and socks all in a pile, I see that when I wake up, and believe me, it guilt trips myself.
Past Bethany definitely guilt trips current Bethany. Current Bethany returns the favor to future Bethany.
And yes, I do talk about myself in third person sometimes. And next I'm going to talk about tip number three. Another thing I found very useful when working from home is when you are thinking about how you're going to schedule your time, whether you have different projects and all of that, is to always assume the worst case scenario for how long something is going to take. And so that way you plan it out so that worst come to worst, you have more time set aside than you need for that certain project or that certain task.
And then you can start your next task. Then you can start your next task earlier. Next task. Why is that really hard to say? Next task.
And then you can start your next task a little bit earlier. And then you can complete more during your day, or you can have a shorter day depending on what you're trying to do, whether you're trying to hit your hours or not. So tip number 4 is gonna be something I kind of talked about briefly before in this video, and that's gonna be exercising in the morning. Once again, as I said before, do not take this tip up if you know that this is not something that's actually going to make you more productive. But of course, listen to your body and listen to what makes you feel good and what makes you feel productive. Working out in the morning is something I highly suggest trying at least, because not only does it get your body moving and get your blood flowing, it actually makes me feel like my brain is waking up. It makes me start off in a more positive mood. It makes me feel like I'm already doing something productive, and that when I start my work day, that I'm already on task. I'm set to have a very productive day, and that I've already accomplished something. You may want to try to work out in the morning so you can get it out of the way, and then you can go home and have a relaxing evening. For me, I am a lazy evening person. From 3 to 5 is the hardest time for me to get my work done. So the best way for me to set myself up for success is to get things done in the morning. I would say in the past I would have said get the hardest thing done in the morning, but I no longer look at exercise as the hardest thing, because you kind of set yourself up for failure when you tell yourself that it's going to be the hardest thing of your day. And now I try to look forward to it. So tip number 5 is going to be something that you probably already do. And if not, you might want to try doing this in general, not even if you just work from home, but washing your face with cold water. Nothing like a little splash to the face right when you wake up to really get your engines moving physically, mentally. It's just something that I've really found that even before, when I was using just like lukewarm water to wake up and wash my face as a necessity, that just changing it to making sure it's running a little bit longer so it's in the really cold setting really wakes me up. Do I love it at the second? Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I hate it. But right after, I feel more awake, I feel more alert, and I definitely recommend trying it if you're working from home, because when you aren't working from home, you have this whole process of having to get ready to leave the house, you have to drive to work, you have to do all this stuff to get into your work environment. When your work environment is also in your home, I feel like it's really important to get yourself awake and aware before you start working, so you're not only productive and separating kind of your home life from your work life, but you're also a little bit happier, because at least in my case, separating them makes it so it's easier for me when I'm done with work to close that chapter in my mind. It can be very healthy to separate your work and your personal life, so you don't bring some of that work stress home with you, even though you are home the whole time. So tip number 6 is gonna be chugging water. And I don't mean taking a knee and chugging that water like you just got Smirnoff Ice on your 21st birthday. All I mean is creating goals for yourself of a certain amount of water that you want to drink in the morning before you start your day. Whether it's after you wash your face, after you brush your teeth, after you get everything ready, just telling yourself, okay, before I start working on my computer, I want to drink a whole glass of water. I want to start sipping from the moment I wake up to the moment I start working and drink my whole 32-ounce Hydro Flask. Whatever your goal is, try to hit that and see how it makes you feel. And if you're still feeling a little dehydrated, add a little bit more. But starting off your day and getting some of that water intake you need at the beginning can be a really good way to make sure you are feeling good enough to work well, and that you start your day off really well. And it's something that you can easily add to your working from home routine. So tip number 7, this is going to be something that is up to you. If you try this and you disagree, that's totally fine. But for me, I organize my tasks, whether it's for the day or for the week or longer than that, in categories. As a personal executive assistant, I do things from administrative work, accounting work, marketing work, etc., etc. And so for that, I like to separate them into different categories, and of course have the tasks more detailed under there. But that gives you the chance, if you are feeling overwhelmed with the work that you're doing and the current tasks you're on, you can do more than just switch tasks. You can also switch the category of the tasks you're working on. So maybe some of them are a little bit more easier. So maybe some of them are a little bit more easy. Some of them maybe are a little bit more creative. Some of them are a little bit more time consuming. So this is a chance for you to kind of see which categories, maybe take less time, more time, are more fun to do, and switch back and forth based on how you're feeling. If you're feeling super productive, hit that hard stuff. Hit that stuff that maybe is time consuming and maybe isn't as fun. And if you're feeling a little bit sluggish, a little bit procrastinating, that's not a word, then you can do more of the creative things or more of the things that you enjoy doing that make you happy. So tip number 8, when you are assigned things, Take notes of all of them and then prioritize them in your need to categories. And of course, all these tips can be used whether you're a student, you're working from home, whether you're a high school or college student. Something I make sure I always do with my tasks, since I work directly with someone, whether you're working directly with a boss or with team members or you have a team leader, when you are assigned things, take notes of all of them and then prioritize them in your need to categories. Needs to get done today, needs to get done this week, needs to get done this month, needs to get done indefinitely. So for this, you can have your list of needs to get done today. If you don't finish it all today, but you should try to get it done today, you can still put it in that list. And then anything that doesn't get done, you keep on that list for the next day. As you go through your week, as you schedule what you're going to do in the week in the beginning, like I talked about. But if they don't get done that day, as that day passes, you need to reallocate it to another day so it still gets done in your to-do weekly to-do list. And then of course, that's the same thing for monthly. If it's something that just needs to get done before the end of the month, you can have it in that list and have an estimate of when you think you want to accomplish it. And if that time passed, you have to reallocate it to another day so you make sure you get it done. This is a way to make sure that your to-do list is always complete, but it's always prioritized. So you know what the first priorities are. And if it's something that doesn't have a strict timeline, you can throw into your daily week when you have those gaps. This is a really good way to make sure you're not procrastinating on things and that you always are aware that even if it's something that doesn't have to get done this week, that you have a list that keeps you aware of what needs to be done in total and things that are looming so that things don't get left behind. If someone talks to you about something a few months before and it may not be due this week, today, or this month, it doesn't mean that they're going to be okay with you not making any progress on it in the next few months, even if there was no final date chosen. So of course, this tip is not just for working from home, but it's something I found that's really helpful working from home, especially since you're not always talking to people throughout the week, not always bouncing ideas off other people, and not always being accountable about telling people exactly what you're doing each day. So this can really help you be accountable for all the things you need to do and in a timely fashion. So tip number 9 is one of my favorites. If this idea is not your cup of tea, do not worry. My feelings are fine. I am not offended, but this is something that gives me so much joy. Color coding. Tip number 9 is color coding. As I said before, you can separate what kind of tasks you have throughout the week. You can color code that. So if you have administrative, marketing, whatever, you can have them different colors. And then for your to-do list that has for needing to get done today, this week, this month, etc., you can color code it. And then my favorite thing to do is for each one of those lists, since I keep them on separate documents, I create my to-do list, my overall one, and then highlight them based on needs to get done today, needs to get done this week, needs to get done this month, and then is looming. And then below that on the same document, I'll go down one page and start on that new page and have my weekly to do. And so from there, I will take the ones that need to get done this week / the main priority today ones, and I will allocate them throughout the week on when I think I would like to get them done based on the kind of task it is, how time consuming it is, and then what I know my week is looking like. And on that list, the ones that are top priority will be highlighted in red. The ones that are not as top priority, orange, yellow, maybe ones I want to get in there that are looming, that if I don't get to that week are not a big deal. This may sound a little crazy to you if you don't like color coding and all this kind of stuff, but if you do, I suggest you try it. It's really fun, and if you're open to it, I suggest you try it too. It is amazing to not only see all your tasks in one place and kind of have a plan for how you're going to execute it, but also something I do is I highlight it green when it's done, so it's really nice. So it's really nice to see what you've accomplished, and it makes you feel good about what you've done. But also, if you are working from home and if you are trying to discuss with coworkers or a boss what you've done this week, it's an easy way to look back at what you've accomplished and remember what things you wanted to talk about, what questions you had, what notes you had, and if you even just need to tell them exactly what you did, you have documentation of when you did it. So let me know if you try that one. Let me know if that makes any sense and if you enjoy doing that. But that's something I love to do. Tip number 10. So I figured this out the hard way actually in the past few months. I accidentally started assigning myself tasks that are kind of harder and more time consuming on Fridays. Do not schedule time consuming, stressful projects on Friday. Whether your Friday is a different day of the week, whatever your Friday is, try to not put too much stress on your Friday. I don't think I'm alone in saying this, but Fridays are a day, whatever your Friday is, are a day that is sometimes is hard to be your most productive. It's sometimes hard to focus the most because you know you're about to have a little bit of a break from having to work. Don't let yourself put off hard things for the end of the week. Tip number 11. Planning meals or even meal prepping. And of course you can use this tip for working in an office as well, but for working from home, this is a really good way that you aren't spending your break time making meals. You want to spend your time actually taking a break, watching a show, reading a book, running an errand, or eating your food. You don't want to spend that time cooking your food and then trying to quickly eat your food or eating your food while you're working. Give yourself the time to enjoy your food. I think this is something that's really important for people working from home because you don't have to pack up your lunch and take it with you. You know that you have the food there already, and sometimes it can be tempting to not prepare your food. You are rushing, you're maybe not enjoying the food as much as you would have if it had already been ready for you. And so my last tip is going to be mixing hard work and easy work throughout your days. And now let me explain that, because I know just off the bat that doesn't make sense. But as we were talking about before, as you see the different categories of work that you will have to do in your position and ones that will be weekly, monthly, daily, whatever, you will start to know which tasks are harder and which ones are easier. And throughout a day, I really try to make sure that I have some hard tasks, but then I have some easy tasks. I make sure I split up my days, and if I'm feeling super productive, I'll have more hard tasks on that day in comparison to a day when I'm least productive. It's something really easy you can do, and it makes it so that when you're switching from tasks, there's some that you look forward to. You give yourself cushion. You get to work on tasks that are a little bit less consuming of your mind and a little bit less stressful, and then it makes it so that you are more prepared for when you do the stressful ones. Just making sure you have a healthy balance of what you're working on in a day can really help your mindset for the day and really make sure that you give your all to the work, but also to yourself. So I think that's all I have to share about working from home. I hope these tips were helpful, or at least they inspired you with your own tips. Please let me know any other tips you would like to share in the comments below, and hopefully other people that watch this video can see your tips as well. But thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below if you like my videos, and just let me know if you want to see any certain content from me. Thank you and have a great day.